Alaba market, I'm sure that some of us know where that is, an electronics market. That if you have embedded generation in Alaba market, you can actually produce power cabled to those people who use that industrial cluster and have power there 24/7. And we can do so for several of the other industrial clusters that we have. I'll just come lastly to the question of refineries. I think the question of refineries is one that we've got to take a different approach. Government's involvement in refineries, as in most public utilities, has been a failure and has become worse in the past few years. So what we intend to do is to encourage local investment in refineries and clean up the legislation so that local investors can invest. Already there is a plant, the Dangote plant, which is supposed to process 400,000 barrels of oil. We think that sufficient incentives ought to be given to that enterprise so that at least we have a private refining capacity of 400,000 barrels of oil. That's already taking place in Lekki and in collaboration with the Lagos State government. And we think that that would work very well. And that's the kind of thing we want to encourage, local investment in refineries. And of course, there have been suggestions about modular refineries as well, small refineries that can come into place. A lot will have to do with writing the rules about who gets what. The level playing field has not been created in the past, and that's one of the things that we intend to create. A level playing field for all players in the market, no special concessions, so that everybody comes into that market for refined petroleum at the same level, and you don't have some people who have an advantage over others. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why many people have not wanted to invest in refining, and also the caps that have been imposed on refined petroleum. So I think those are some of the answers. The economy is a bit of a big issue. I thought I should spend a bit of time.
Let's give probably a big round of applause. Now, you can understand why he's a professor. It's a very comprehensive answer. Now, we want to make it a little bit more interactive. Is Brother Isaac here? Brother Isaac, you have a question? Is Brother Isaac here? Wait, that's you. Is that Brother Isaac? All right. Anybody have any question? A short question in the audience? Okay, the sister from Place Company Way. Make it very fast, but make it more interactive. Go ahead.
I know that the House of Senate and House of Representatives are your support system in your presidency, but do you have any plans to reduce their current payments for their jobs being done? Because right now that's a drain on your current expenditure. Thank you.
And I think before you answer, there's a very important question here that I think you should address. It says that, sir, I will appreciate you to clear the air on the claim that General Buhari is a force behind Boko Haram, and what are your plans to deal with those militants?
Thank you very much. With respect to the pay of National Assembly members, it's an important issue indeed. Yes. In fact, some of the figures are actually absolutely outrageous.
Ridiculous.
The National Assembly at some point had capital transfers of 150 billion, this was in 2013. One state, Ebonyi State, had all that Ebonyi State earned in that year also was 151 billion. And that's a state of 3.1 million people to the National Assembly of under 700 people.
Mad.
So definitely there's something wrong with that. And we think that an APC majority in the National Assembly will address as a matter of urgency the question of earnings and ensuring that earnings are restricted to what is approved by the Revenue Mobilization and Fiscal Commission, which is the body that actually regulates the pay of elected officials of government. And we think that that must be done, and we must maintain the levels that have been recommended. And we must maintain those levels, not just for salaries, but also for allowances. It's absolutely important, and I believe that many legislators, very strongly also believe that this has to be checked. They also believe, because they're criticized almost every day, minimum wage is 18,000 odd naira, and legislators are earning in the millions. It's clear that it cannot stand, and we pray that an APC majority in Senate, this will be for us one of the priority orders of business. General Buhari, as many know, was head of state of Nigeria from 1983 to 1985, August 1985. And in that period, he showed very clearly that he's a true Nigerian to the core, was not at any point known to have favored one religion over the other. As a matter of fact, of the 19 governors that he appointed then, 11 were Christians. Of the ministers that he appointed, over 70% of them were actually Christians, of the ministers that he appointed. That same General Buhari was the one who put down the Maitacidi insurgency. The Maitacidi insurgency, a bit like the Boko Haram. He took leadership, went to Bono, and he quelled that insurgency. The ruling party, if you look at what has happened with Boko Haram and general insecurity, one of the reasons why we're where we are is because of the politicization of the insurgency by the PDP. What we heard initially from General Zazi of Blessed Memory, who was National Security Advisor, was that the reason why the Boko Haram had sprung up was because of internal squabblings within the PDP. That's on record, on video and everything. Then the president himself said that there were PDP people, there were Boko Haram people within the cabinet. It was only after the APC was formed, that they then said, oh, it's the APC that is responsible for Boko Haram. So clearly, that politicization is one that not only slowed down the very serious threat, it slowed down the process of countering the very serious threat posed by these individuals. In fact, it was not until Buhari himself, General Buhari himself, was attacked in Kano and nearly killed, in Kaduna, and nearly killed by these extremists. People began to understand. Of course, several people were killed. Almost 72 people were killed in that attack, and including, his own bodyguards and people were killed in that attack. It was then that people started to think perhaps, the PDP, of course, many of them couldn't say much after that. I think it's become quite evident that General Buhari certainly not only is he not an Islamist, certainly he has even said categorically several times that he does not believe that there should be any state religion. He doesn't even believe that government should support any religion over another. And he's proved that even as head of state. He proved that in showing that government should not even pay for pilgrimage to Mecca. He showed that even as head of state. He's the only head of state who has done that, has shown that. So I think that is clearly a lot of the misinformation that we're getting is on account of the fact that they just don't want to be held to account. Yes. What General Buhari stands for is accountability. And this guy is
I'm going to bring somebody as we are wrapping up because of time. We are still going to have another meeting in Silver Spring, so we are wrapping up now. I can assure you that all the questions that have been asked, if they don't get answered here, will be answered by other means. We're going to record them and we're going to direct them at the corporate media to get them answered. I want to bring Mr. Alex Ogo, who is the National Finance Director of the APC Buhari Oshibaju campaign, to talk to us about how we can help this movement. Let's make welcome Mr. Ogo. God bless you.
Thank you very much, moderator. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I first of all want to thank the organizers of this event, especially Pastor Tola and Pastor Kofo, for giving me the opportunity to pitch for your financial support for this great movement. Something wonderful is going on in Nigeria, and I believe that that wonderful thing is that for the very first time in the history of Nigeria, we have a great opportunity to install a credible and progressive government. And I believe that by the grace of God, come March 28th this year, General Muhammad Buhari and Professor Yemi Osinbajo will be elected as the President and Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, let me also start by saying that this particular election has generated tremendous awareness and interest. I believe quite unprecedented in the history of Nigeria. But that also has imposed certain consequences on us as an organization. And to fund this project has been quite challenging. And we are here essentially as part of the gospel of change, which Professor Yemi Osinbajo has eloquently delivered to us this afternoon. As part of that process is to solicit your support as brothers and sisters in diaspora to contribute to ensuring that this change does happen. How can you do this? How can you do this? We believe that you can do this in many ways. One, of course, is that we are people of faith, and I believe that you can pray for us that this change does take place. Secondly, we believe that you can continue to advocate very, very seriously that the process is allowed to conclude and that it does conclude freely and fairly. The third thing you can also do is that the moderator was talking about the amount of remittances that are done by Nigerians in diaspora. I'm not too sure about the figure, but $25 billion is a lot of money. If I can get 10% of that to take back to me, with me to Lagos, I can assure you that we'll be very, very happy. But because you wield that kind of influence, you can also speak to your words and to your brothers and sisters back home to ensure that they vote and that they vote wisely. Of course, the last thing that I would like to ask is that you do contribute financially towards this project. How can you do this? We would like for you so please write out your check to Buhari Osinbajo U.S. Support Group. Buhari Osinbajo U.S. Support Group. And then you can mail the check to, I think that some information will be provided on the video wall behind me and on the screen. You can mail the check to that address. Secondly, I believe that there are some pledge forms that are being distributed right now. Please fill those pledge forms with relevant details and tick the box that you would like to make your donation in. The third way that you can give is also is via SMS. So you can text donate to 240-205-7800. 240-205-7800. And then there will be a series of prompts that will guide you towards how you can make that donation. Thank you very, very much, ladies and gentlemen, and God bless you.
Okay, let's give you a big round of applause. Now, the information is on the screen, and I'm sure that the information is on the screen. Yeah, and it's Osinbajo, not Osinbajo. It's O-S-I-N-B-A-J-O. So you can write a check to Buhari Osinbajo. There's no hand there. We are sorry that we have to wrap up the program because we have to be in Silver Spring at 5 o'clock. So I want to bring the host pastor to give us a vote of thanks. Let's make welcome Pastor. Who has taken this place and doing for us. Let's make welcome.